apologize. I'm a little late this morning. My mother did not set my alarm clock. My botch.
What? No, yes.
Yuji Nakagata Kazushika Okada. I guess that's coming. Loss in Gobernables de Japan and the Briscoe.
And the Briscoes going to be coming here on the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Tommy Stryker, the host of the show, where we talk about the best pro wrestling in the world. Yes, we are a day late this week.
And I got to apologize. I'm a little late this morning. My mother did not set my alarm clock.
But it wasn't because of our mothers not setting the alarm clock. It was more of we had some other plans going on, and we just had to record the show a day late. Taco is here.
What up?
Joe, you're here as well.
Howdy.
And fair warning, coming next week, we will also be recording one day late due to the July 4th holiday.
Goddamn holidays.
We'll be recording it on the 5th. Again, recording
Shut your mouth.
on Wednesday.
Hey, WWE's working on the holiday.
And it'll be available on Thursday. So look forward to that next week. So again, we apologize for being late.
And I got to apologize. I'm a little late this morning. My mother did not set my alarm clock.
I think we got to address, before we get to anything, and there's a ton to talk about, as there is every week.
What a week it's been. So much to talk about.
We got Raw, Smackdown, of course, NXT. We could talk about NXT in a timely fashion this week.
Shit.
Because we just watched it, so we can talk last week, this week. But
Did I watch this week's?
We got a ton of New Japan stuff to talk about, as referenced by all the sound bites that we've been playing already. They're going to be. We got the big shows coming up this weekend in Long Beach, so we got to talk about that stuff and the shows that New Japan just had coming up. What else? Anyway, like
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, yeah, the pay-per-view from over the weekend, from last weekend. So we got to talk that. But yeah, all this Vince Russo stuff that we're talking about. Taco, you sent me this video, and just kind of talk about where'd you find this thing, and just talk about what it is.
I just stumbled on this video of Vince Russo going over the GI Climax, a 26. And I was like, fucking Tom, I need to start reading shit this way. So
yeah, so apparently what this was, I don't know this for a fact. I've just seen the video, and I'm going to play the audio here in a minute. But Vince Russo, God bless him, and I hate Vince Russo, but God bless, he was trying to do so. He was trying to get ahead of it, be the breaking news guy on New Japan. And so last year, the G1 Climax, instead of watching it himself and getting familiar with it, he read somebody's report on it as it came out live, and he was trying to be, the breaking news guy on New Japan. But if you've listened to this show for a long time, when you first are trying to learn the names of these guys, it can be difficult. And God bless Vince Russo, he was trying hard.
He makes me feel so much better about myself.
And trying to pronounce the names. But I got a kick out of it because he was trying to report on it and kind of act like he kind of knew what was going on, but didn't. And the first video, the one that you sent me, he's reporting on what happened on the one of the latter nights of the G1 Climax, but he never even got to what the G1 Climax. He reported what the undercard matches were, but not what the actual G1 Climax tournament matches were. But it was
silly Russo.
Yeah, it's pretty great stuff here. Here, I'll play it for you here. And we'll put a link.
Good morning, everybody.
I'll put a link to these on bestprowrestlingpodcast.com
I'm
too.
sorry my hair looks so bad, but it's so early. You got to excuse me, but I know that everybody's been waiting for the results of a New Japan Pro Wrestling GI Climax 26.
Again, this is last year. He could just watch it. He could get the New Japan World and just watch it.
Finals. Everybody's been waiting for this. It's literally 4:56 here in Colorado, but I've been up all night waiting for these results to come in. That's why the hair looks like I combed it with a hair grenade. But let me tell you what happened. A Tiger Mask, Jushin Thunder Liger, Manabu Nakanishi,
he did good with that one,
and Hiroyoshi Tenzai defeated
Hiroyoshi
David
Tenzai,
Finlay, Kashuki Takaguchi,
Ryusuke
Captain
Taguchi,
New Japan, and Yoshitatsu.
Should be more familiar with Yoshitatsu.
Naomichi Mufuji and Tomohiro Ishii.
You got close on Tomohiro Ishii.
Juice
It's
Robinson
2 eyes, so it's
and
hard.
Togi Makabe.
Jay
Lethal, Bushi, and Sonata defeated Kushida, Satoshi Kojima, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. The ace of New Japan. Takahashi, Bad Luck Fail, Hangman Page,
all right, I think
Tonga, and Tangaroa.
I think everybody gets the idea. There's another. We checked a later version where it was like the finals of the G1 Climax, and yes, even after apparently doing this for quite some time during last year's G1, he called he was still on the finals. He was still calling it the GI Climax and pronouncing the names pretty badly.
I'm glad the internet was on the same basis of just like no one correct him.
Well, and it was it's one of those things where, again, New Japan is such a niche thing that maybe no one was even watching it, or the people that were watching it were just Vince Russo guys and they didn't know any better anyway. So there's that. But yeah, it was extremely, extremely entertaining. So look forward to more Vince Russo soundbites when we talk some New Japan stuff. But I digress. Let's get into the regular stuff of the show we usually talk about. Let's start with Raw, huh?
Monday Night Raw!
It's kind of hard to... Raw was decent this week. I enjoyed Raw.
Yeah.
We had some good stuff on there. Not the entire thing. The Miz TV segment was...
Wonderful TV.
That was... had to get through that one.
I've never really said, like, oh, I'm going to cancel the network or I'm going to stop watching. But I really had that feeling on Raw watching. I fucking hate the Ball family so fucking much. And
you and most of the internet.
God, the booze he was getting made me happy.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. Like, I didn't even bother. I mean, obviously, I was out of town all weekend, out of town until Tuesday, and so I just fast forwarded through most of Raw and SmackDown today, and so that was not something I was interested in watching at all. It
got everyone talking. I mean, just the NBA community, they loved it. They absolutely did. That's what they got.
It's exposure, man. That's all it is.
Let's talk about the good stuff from Raw. The Enzo and Cass video package leading into what they did on Monday. So good. I mean, we talked about Cass and how good he was last week, and Enzo just standing there reacting, the tear falling down his cheek. And then his reaction promo this week was great. You know, him coming out and doing his routine, but without Big Cass, skipping that part, and then him getting in the ring, and Cass coming out, and seemingly the whole thing, and just how...
I love that he came out to music with Enzo rapping.
Right.
It's like, come on.
And then just the black T-shirt. The plain black T-shirt.
Right, the plain T-shirt, you know, him seemingly, apologizing or whatever, and they Tommaso Ciampa'd us.
Yep.
You know, I honestly, I think the Ciampa Gargano story was a little bit better, but this one was told they did a really good job. They told it over a number of weeks. They built up to it pretty well, and what Cass did last week, the reaction from Enzo this week, the seeming to be apology. Were you guys as on the edge of your seat watching it as is it coming? Is it coming? So yeah,
just waiting for it. I mean, you're just sitting there watching. You're just like, it should have happened. Should have happened. Oh, there we go.
Right. Just like Ciampa, wait till they're on the stage. So
I mean, like the little touch they did later on the show with Cass coming out and being like, Angle says I can't touch you, like screaming right into Corey Graves' face. So it's like, God, they're even leaving us, wanting more from this whole Angle Corey Graves thing too.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, the whole what does Corey Graves have on Angle? Angle, and
it wasn't like another like, oh, I got to run off, you guys. That's the only acknowledgement they did on that night. So that was a really good touch too.
The Paul Heyman stuff was great throughout the entire show. He gets interviewed early in the show. He says Lesnar's going to call out Samoa Joe for a fight. Samoa Joe confronts him in the back and threatens to put the coquina clutch on him, but then he's like, nah, I'm not going to put it on you. I'm going to save it. I'm saving it for Lesnar. Saving it for Lesnar. And so then they're calling out Samoa Joe in the ring later. Fucking Samoa Joe comes out and just attacks Brock Lesnar on the stage. Brock Lesnar selling the fucking coquina clutch was great, getting red in the face. Yeah. That was just great.
This whole story, I mean, again, like, I really thought that WWE was going to drop the ball, considering we were going into Great Balls of Fire. But they've done everything they really need.
Oh, one of the worst pay-per-view names ever is having one of like the best cards. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're really delivering.
Well, again, this is a WrestleMania, you know, main event match, and we're gonna get it at Great Balls of Fire, and that's I love it.
And I'm curious to see how it goes after Great Balls of Fire too, because all the rumor mills were saying that this was just going to be a one-off match, and we're looking at Braun Strowman for SummerSlam. But you know, they've been known to change their plans. Look what they did with Goldberg. Goldberg was just supposed to be a one-time thing too. So it'll be interesting.
Joe just realizes that he really needs to shine this moment, otherwise he's just going to be scuffled, you know, and with the rest of them, and he's really stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. Hey, say his name.
Samoa Joe. But, you know, he realizes that, you know, he needs to go hard against someone like Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar can fucking take it, you know, and, you know, I think, you know, like, just putting myself in Brock Lesnar's shoes, he fucking loves it. You know, look how lackluster Ambrose's shit was.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I even like later in the show when Paul Heyman got interviewed again after the Lesnar segment, and he's like, look, Brock Lesnar's up against the wall now, and that's exactly where he wants to be. And he talked about it, you know, from a promoter's standpoint and all that. So Heyman's passion in the promos was great.
They're selling us great.
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
Really great stuff. Let's see what else from the women's #1 contender gauntlet match.
That was interesting.
Yeah, and I was actually kind of surprised that it main evented. But that was good. But
the whole week was main evented by women.
Yeah. But the way I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Nia Jax over, but Nia Jax is a heel, and you got her in there like making Bayley look like a fool again. She made Mickie James look pretty much like bad. Dana Brooke was the only one I agreed with. Thank God they didn't leave those two in the ring together for very long.
I feel like this was just like all the girls in the back just trying to help her out to try to make her look a little bit better. Because honestly, like it was, I thought it was entertaining. It was, I thought it was a good way to kind of put some faith in your women's division, because obviously they really haven't been, as much as like Smackdown has. But just them ending Raw with that match, and I was like, okay, Nia Jax is actually doing something. They're putting her, testing her, throwing her to the sharks in a sense. So
then by the time Sasha Banks got out there, again they turned it up as much as they could. They gave Nia a lot of nice 10-count rest breaks as Banks got thrown out of the ring 3 or 4 times there, but. Again, to me, the psychology was all fucked up in this. If you're gonna have Sasha Banks win the match, have her run the fucking gauntlet,
right? And
then have Nia come in. It's a great heel story. I mean, hell, I didn't even liked the match had Sasha Banks started early, made it all the way to the finals, and then here comes Nia fucking Jax, last woman in, and then she gets all the heat for beating the much more tired now Sasha Banks. Even though her having the main event versus Alexa Bliss seems like a story that they are telling. So yeah, why didn't Nia Jax win the damn thing? But I like, of course, Sasha Banks.
Definitely felt more babyface for Nia Jax, and I honestly have nothing negative to say on her this week, which is fucking weird. But
I don't know. I thought a lot of things were clunky in the match.
Oh, it's definitely clunky, but it's just. That's just how I just look at it, as like, the other women in the back just, trying to make her look strong because they need to. She looks silly.
There's something for me about, sorry, Tago. There's something for me about a lengthy main event. I'm not saying all main events should be long, but I mean, I think the main event should get them, again, the most decent amount of time on the show. doesn't happen always, but I find these longer, gauntlet matches, multi-tag team matches, multi-people elimination matches, they tend to work out better for me to finish off a show.
Sure, yeah, and it was that part of it was good. I enjoyed.
But like you said,
the idea of the match more than the execution of the match. And again, I'm forever I don't know if I'm a Bayley apologist still, but the way that they have messed up that character,
it's brutal.
She's just, it's
horrible.
horrible.
There's even an interview out there where she even talks about nerves and how different it is and how much harder it is, with that kind of character on the main roster. It's,
right.
You can only do so much with it.
Yeah, it's too bad they didn't do a better job with her. So I guess we'll see. I liked that Finn Balor looked good in that 6-man match. That was nice.
There's a really awesome camera shot of all the Hardys and Balor on the corner where he's doing his arms up in the air thing, and they're doing their thing.
Yeah,
so that's really cool.
Matt Hardy doing his crazy smile thing or whatever. So that was cool. Roman and Strowman brawling at the beginning of the show was decent. Nothing eventful, nothing noteworthy there. But continuing to build to that ambulance match. A little bit of obnoxiousness with the dramatic backing in of the ambulance with the sirens going on.
I keep thinking Scott Steiner coming out.
And the only other thing, the Goldust R-Truth thing, that was a letdown.
A little bit, yeah.
The Goldust is cutting those great promos. They come out, don't even really have the match. It just ends up being
out in
a
his
beatdown.
old gear too.
Yeah, that was kind of funky.
And I like the weird camera. I don't know. Let's do some.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they do something with Goldust, obviously eliminating R-Truth right now. We've talked about it multiple times that he's going to do a game show of some sort with WWE.
Well, yeah, hopefully they just move away from the R-Truth thing and it ends up just being something else, and maybe R-Truth comes back later or not at all. Who knows? But
he's in his mid-40s.
Yeah, no, both of those guys are getting up there. They don't need to be going out and having insane matches or anything, so... All right, let's get into SmackDown.
Change the subject.
Where's the SmackDown?
SmackDown Live.
Players, I'm going to make this a tag team match.
You got burned by
Vicky got me there. I haven't gotten by Vicky in a while. Before we talk anything this week on SmackDown, last week we forgot to mention the return of Chad Gable / kind of American Alpha. We didn't talk about the open challenge, the match that he had with Kevin Owens. All I wanted to say was, he lost, whatever, and that was fine because I liked how Gable looked in the match. I thought he looked good, hit some nice suplexes in there. But what did you guys think of the return of American Alpha?
I didn't care. I just wanted them on TV, and that's what I got. And whether it was a tag team match or that singles match with Gable, it was just good to see them again.
Yeah,
same.
Too bad we didn't see him again this week.
Too bad.
Another thing we haven't really talked about a ton on this show yet is free agent John Cena returning next week. What's with the free agent thing? Is he going to? He must be going to Raw, right?
I don't know. I don't really care.
Well, there's been talks, too, of John Cena kind of calling out Roman Reigns and saying that it's his yard kind of stuff. So there's a little bit of that going on. So.
I've even heard him floating, too, because of the free agent status.
That's certainly a possibility.
I don't want at all.
No, that just screams of, he's John Cena, so he can do whatever he wants.
Yep.
We groaned when the Undertaker did it. When he showed up, he was a SmackDown guy, but then he showed up on Raw on the road to WrestleMania and says, "I go where I want, and I do what I want, and I answer to no one." When he looked at Stephanie, so I guess we that seems to make the most sense with all. A lot of people have been talking about ratings lately and how they've been in the shitter and all that, but really, and I hate talking about ratings. It's not my thing.
It's stupid.
It makes you put yourself in your own head,
right? And really, it's still like a number 1, 2, 3, 4 show on cable. Depending on what is running up against. It's a different world now when it comes to TV and entertainment, and I think a lot of wrestling fans are, they see what WWE is putting out on Raw and SmackDown and realizing, hey, a lot of this is skippable, and I can pay my $10 a month, and I can watch the pay-per-views, and I can stay pretty much caught up by catching a YouTube clip of something cool here
Preaching
and there.
to the choir.
I feel like that is a big issue because that's one thing I constantly see online too is people being like, "How can I watch Raw or SmackDown post it being on? I don't have anything," and it's just like it's so easy to be like, "Oh, I'm getting dinner with the wifey tonight. I can watch Money in the Bank later in the night, or I can finish it tomorrow."
Yep.
You can't do that with Raw or SmackDown unless you go into crazy fucking Comcast or cable provider kind of shit.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
We talked about Sling TV. They do have DVR options right now, but it's just I don't know. I feel like because you get Raw a month after on the WWE network, but it's just by that time it's like who gives a shit.
Well, and even WWE puts like their best stuff out on YouTube anyway. Like if the big angles, they'll throw them on YouTube clips.
I noticed a lot of people don't like that 90-minute Hulu thing.
I think I've heard people that like it, that enjoy it. I mean, all you're missing is the Miz TV segment.
Right.
You're missing. They're just trimming the fat stuff anyway, the stuff that doesn't matter. And really, technically, a lot that happens on Raw and SmackDown doesn't matter in the long run. It's just they build to the pay-per-views. That's when the big matches happen. And even on the pay-per-views, as what happened with last month's SmackDown pay-per-view, sometimes that doesn't matter that much.
Does anything matter though? Does this matter?
Nothing.
Do they matter?
But anyway, if you don't want to watch Raw and SmackDown, that's fine. Listen to this podcast because we're watching it.
This podcast is a prison.
We're in the Uso penitentiary apparently. Speaking of nothing mattering, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, the rematch from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, good match. I enjoyed it. I actually think the one from SmackDown was a little bit better than the pay-per-view, possibly.
I think it was better in the fact that, as weird as it sounds, there was just a lot more wrestling, like not a lot of gimmick stuff and everything like that. But I didn't enjoy it as much as you. It seemed kind of lackluster. Like, even not even comparing it to the first one, but just comparing it to Money in the Bank matches in general, just kind of felt lackluster.
Well, I think that's one of the problems with this is I don't think they want those, or any women, taking like huge bumps and bumps into ladders and things like that. And so we didn't have a ton of,
which is completely understandable, especially being on like TV.
Right.
I'm glad they didn't take like a lot of giant spots on ladders and attempt to do it because. Like looking back at the Charlotte Sasha trying to do the table spots was like, it just when they did use ladder made it feel so much more special, and they got to showcase some of the moves like that fucking powerbomb exchange between Natty and Becky was like fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that was good.
Damn, it's like. We need to see this in just standard matches, but I like that they concentrated more on the wrestling aspect in a ladder match.
Yeah, we did get James Ellsworth coming back out, but not technically really affecting the outcome with Becky Lynch crotching him off the top of the ladder. So that was a nice spot there, despite Ellsworth being banned from the building. And then, but
that's going to happen. I'm telling you, Becky Lynch, Ellsworth.
I got that feeling too. Like Becky Lynch is going to be so mad at Ellsworth that she is going to challenge him to an intergender match and beat the snot out of him.
I think this is one of the few times WWE is completely okay with the situation.
I think they would, just because of his stature, the way he looks. They would be perfectly fine.
And the fucking cheers she's going to get, too.
Oh, my God.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I could definitely see that happening, and I'd be fine with it. And think of the heat. Like the second he does any move, whether it's a punch, some kind of throw, a splash, anything, the heat that fucking Ellsworth is going to get for just having physical interaction with a woman, that would be phenomenal. But Carmella does end up with the briefcase again after basically all the other four competitors in the match take each other out. But yeah, I liked the match. I liked when it was Carmella that climbed the ladder a little earlier in the match, and all four of them pick up the ladder and move her away so they could continue fighting. I enjoyed some of the spots in the match. I didn't like the one where it was I think it was Tamina and I can't remember who else it was.
No.
Yeah, it was Tamina and Charlotte, and they ended up fighting for the ladder, and they end up just kind of holding the ladder upright in the middle of the ring, and then here comes Becky Lynch to climb up the ladder, and then it felt like they didn't know what to do after that, and so they just kind of set her down.
They're going for that Kofi spot.
Yeah, they were trying to do something different, and it didn't quite work out. It was probably one of those things that sounded really good on paper, and maybe it worked out better when they practiced it, but it just didn't quite work out.
That Tamina splash wasn't that devastating.
Yeah, let's keep moving on. Fashion Vice Under Pressure was a fun thing. They tried to bribe the Ascension because they
sweeten the pot,
trying to figure out who attacked Tyler Breeze, and they think they're going to play good cop, bad cop, and they both play good cop. And so
no, they pulled great cops.
Right.
We got this cheese platter.
And they try to bribe with the Eddie Money tickets, of course. What was the line?
You got 2 tickets to paradise.
Yes.
Eddie Money.
And then, of course, the Ascension, they didn't want to take the tickets at first
right.
because...
Taco, what do we listen to?
Fuck. Fucking Russo'd that.
Grindcore thrash metal.
My botch.
So, yeah, the grindcore and metal, and then they end up sneaking the tickets away in the end anyway. But it turns out it wasn't the Ascension that trashed their office.
They just wanted a spot on Money in the Bank.
Right. And that when they leave the interrogation area, their office has been trashed again. So I love that the Ascension is participating in these skits. We're getting a little bit of something out of the Ascension, so that's kind of fun.
Just getting themselves on TV.
Yep. Naomi beat Lana quickly, which was nice.
Yep.
We didn't have the more competitive match that they did at Money in the Bank. Hype Bros lost to the Usos rather uneventfully, so I'm looking for a breakup.
I actually liked that.
Yeah.
I really feel Zack Ryder turn coming. Everyone thinks Mojo. I'm thinking Ryder.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah, either way, I'm looking forward to see what those guys
come back to his old
do
music too.
Next. Let's see. Aiden tried to sing a song, and Orton came out and hit an RKO on Aiden during the commercial because Aiden refused to leave. Then we got the same old boring promo.
That was a good fucking RKO, though. Like, Aiden took it like a champ.
Yeah, and anytime fucking... Randy's RKOs have been really on point forever. But we did get the announcement that it's going to be the Punjabi prison match where you can win by escape only. It's steel-reinforced bamboo, which I thought was a funny line. Taco, you've been doing some research on some Punjabi prison matches.
I actually jumped in the old Wayback Machine and kind of watch the old Punjabi prison matches.
Do you have one of these?
Retro recommendation.
I do actually.
Yeah, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25.
I thought you were going to say Cars.
No.
But yeah, if you do want to go in the Wayback Machine and check out the old Punjabi prison matches, the first one was between it was supposed to be the Great Khali against the Undertaker, but Khali had some medical problems, so they brought in the Big Show from ECW, and he took out the Undertaker in the back, and then Teddy Long was super pissed off, and he put Big Show in the Punjabi prison match instead.
Holla!
So and it was actually super fucking awesome listening to Michael Cole flip the fuck out, because he's like, he's not even on this brand, Michael! He shouldn't even be in this match. He shouldn't even be in this arena. So it was just great to see that, but, actually, like, entertaining match for what it was at the time, so I definitely watched that one because I definitely watched the Great Khali against Batista in that match, and oof, that was rough. It's if you definitely want to go back and watch the two, just stick with the Undertaker Big Show one. It's at least entertaining spots and entertaining move. They're vets.
And I never watched any of those back in the day. So it is like a cage and around another cage.
It's essentially like the old school like blue cage around the ring, just with the bamboo around it, and then on the outside is surrounded by another one with what I thought was ridiculous when the camera would be panning across the top of it. You'd hear Michael Cole saying, like, with the razor sharp wires, bamboo on top of it. It's like, I can see that's not razor sharp. I get what you're going at with this, but, and the concept is on each side of the ring, they have four different doors, one on each side, and you have to escape that one, and then the outside cage has no door, so of course you have to climb through it or break through it.
So you have to escape 2 cages, but there are doors.
There are doors, but they only stay open for a minute, and then they lock them.
Oh, okay.
So if all 4 are locked, you have to climb over, so it's like, it's entertaining. It was fun to kind of go back to these, because, both matches involved big fucking dudes. Gross. Or whatever floats your boat. But it involved big dudes, so kind of I added some more excitement to me for this Randy Orton Jinder Mahal match, because these guys can actually move a little bit.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but yeah. No,
so it's something that's kind of it's like, let's see what these guys can do on it, because we know when Randy Orton's in that fucking I want to whoop some ass mood, he's gonna whoop some ass, and this is the perfect match for that.
I saw a lot of negativity online about, come on, the Punjabi prison match again, but I'm intrigued by to see what these guys do.
Well, it's been a while too. I mean, when was
Daniel Bryan said it was over 10 years.
Yep. Yeah, let's give it a try. Yeah, it's a ridiculous gimmick, but come on, let's have some fun.
It was great. Someone pulled up an old article from it was from one of those joke websites, but it was from 2012, I want to say, where it's like Vince McMahon brought Jinder Mahal in to bring back the Punjabi prison match. Here we are 5 years later.
Hashtag fake news.
I think it was kayfabe news on Twitter too.
Well, we're going to get the Independence Day Battle Royal next week to determine the number 1 contender for the United States Championship. Sounds like smells like AJ Styles is probably going to win that one.
No way,
Gable's going to be in it.
I found out Chad Gable's in it. He's winning, man.
Is he in it?
Yep.
All right.
That's what they said on SmackDown.
I'm pumped for it. So I love that we had Maria and Mike Kanellis come out again, finally, a couple of weeks later, and I enjoyed Sami Zayn just coming out to do his entrance, and then he realizes that they're there. He's like, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I have a match. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, she was flipping out.
I got to go back to the Kevin Owens, the Iron Man, whatever it was. Fucking Talking Smack, I feel is like what's some of the biggest success for SmackDown Live right now, because
Talking Smack
you really
is great.
get to see these guys kind of not have to hit these scripts like they do on TV and just kind of be them in the back, and just like the interaction Kevin Owens does with Renee, I had you guys watch, it's just he's having a fucking 5-year-old temper tantrum just because he couldn't have his fucking juice box, essentially. So it's so great, and
taking the cup with me.
We're gonna have him come out and fucking show his distaste for this matchup on SmackDown, but in the back you really got to see his distaste for it, and just talking back to upper management and just fucking pissed off he has to do this.
I love how he has no reason that he's upset. He just thinks the Battle Royal is a bad idea. Why? Because it's a stupid idea.
Stupid.
So that's just great. What else from SmackDown?
So I do recommend watching Talking Smack on a regular basis.
It really is a great thing to see how talent is good at being off the cuff and being off script.
Baron Corbin was on Jericho's podcast this week. It was a really good listen, and he even talks about that, on how it's kind of difficult for him to go out and cut a promo on SmackDown, because he's just not like that. He wants to be him, and the first time he did Talking Smack, they're like, "You're going on Talking Smack tonight." He's like, "Oh, what I talk about?" They're like, "Oh, we got some, just do you." They did, and that's
awesome.
That's the best time we like him.
And that's when he's been the best.
And then it just kind of, he's like, they kind of evolved from that. They kind of give us pinpointers to go out there on nowadays, but otherwise they definitely let us be us on there. And it's like, you get to connect with somebody. Carmella even kills it on there. It's Naomi's relatable. Usos, you guys didn't watch Usos on this week, but they're a heel group on there, and they're still joking, having a good time with Dan O'Brien. They call him DJ Beats on there, and
I gotta watch that part.
He's rapping with them, and they're a heel group, and at the end of their segment on there, they talk about, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna beat the Newsday's record. We're just gonna get counted out every time," and then Daniel Bryan just super serious, no, there's respect for these championships. You guys are not going to get counted out every championship match, So it's just little things like that. It's pushing SmackDown over the edge a little bit more.
One thing I thought was funny on SmackDown was they called it, they're going to have a wrap-off.
A wrap-off.
Next week. But then Tom Phillips even quickly said, oh, they're going to have a rap battle. That's what it's called, Vince McMahon. It's not a wrap-off. It's a rap battle. So I thought I got a kick out of that. The Sami Zayn having Baron Corbin's number story is over. Corbin wins with the end of days. Nakamura watching backstage. I got a kick out of it because he's watching, but then every once in a while his eyes got really wide, like, whoa.
Hi.
So I really got a kick out of Nakamura. He says that after the match that Corbin is motivated by fear and that he's right to be afraid of Nakamura. So it looks like we're building up to something between Nakamura and Baron Corbin. And yeah, we talked about the wrap-off coming next week. That should be, as you say, Taco, what should that be next week?
That'll be neat.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to that. Let's talk Ring of Honor and Best in the World. So yeah, we had Best in the World, the pay-per-view from Friday of last week, and then I also watched this week's Ring of Honor TV show. Really good.
Fuck yeah, man.
3 really good matches. So if you're not into trying to get these pay-per-views or whatever,
especially for the main event being Jay Wright and Martinez.
Yes, Punishment Martinez and Jay White. Yeah, those two had a really good match. I thought the match of the show this week was Silas Young and Bobby Fish.
For sure.
Really good match between those two. Silas Young kind of getting the upset win there. No bullshit, no shenanigans. I like the story that these two were just brawling the entire match. And the announcer were even alluding to the referee kind of letting them fight outside because of, this whole thing started back at Supercard of Honor when Bobby Fish came out and talked about his contract. Silas Young challenged him to a match. It got counted out almost immediately or thrown out or whatever. So I like the grudge match aspect to this. Silas Young picking up a much needed win here. He actually lost to Jay Lethal on the pay-per-view in another really good, interesting match. Talk about that in a minute. And then the opener from this week's Ring of Honor TV, Flip Gordon, who's a new Ring of Honor signee, taking on Jonathan Gresham, another fairly new signee. And a fun story between these two mostly kind of unknown guys, especially Flip Gordon, but Flip, living up to the name, kind of being the more flashy guy, and Gresham kind of using the technical style to counter it. And it was fun. Gresham did get the win with his octopus lock or whatever. That's kind of his nickname now, is the Octopus, because he uses the octopus lock or whatever.
I even liked Alex Shelley coming out. He did commentary the whole match, and I liked him going into the ring too and be like, "You guys are the fucking future." There's no, if you need anything, I'm here for you. So it's cool to see him, kind of weaving into a storyline like that too.
Right, and Gresham part of the Search and Destroy, which Alex Shelley's part of that too, and so it was Shelley being the pseudo leader of that group, kind of saying to Flip, "Hey, we're impressed by what you do. If you want to be a part of what we do, you're more than welcome." So yeah, I liked all that. Flip Gordon had some really impressive high risk offense a couple of times in that match. Like at one point, Gresham is seated on the top rope in the corner. He does a springboard from inside the ring, and while he's standing on the top rope, tightrope style, hits a super kick onto Gresham. And then I forget what the other one was. Oh, he did another thing where he jumped up to the top rope it basically did a 1-foot springboard and a big splash onto the floor off of 1 foot from the top rope. So some crazy offense from Flip Gordon there. So, but yeah, good matches on Ring of Honor TV this week. But let's talk Best in the World. A really fun. Excuse me, I'm dying here. Hang on.
Oh, Joe will give you CPR.
Oh, there we go. Much better now. But a fun show altogether. The Ultimo Guerrero and El Terrible beat the Kingdom in the opening match. That was a bit of a surprise there, but not entirely. But good stuff.
Because Ultimo Guerrero rules.
It really is because Ultimo Guerrero rules. He has the best mullet in the world. But we got to talk about this Frankie Kazarian versus Hangman Page strap match.
Oh, boy.
My goodness. This was some fucking insane shit. Hangman Page, he's a young guy on the rise, and he's trying to get over over in the Bullet Club. He's really finally started to get over, especially with me, the past, 6-8 months or so.
Sure.
And this match, my God, he left nothing on the table here.
Neither of them did.
Yeah, and people were giving Frank Kazarian shit for not putting guys over in matches. It's like, come on, really?
Get over it. We just got an amazing match out of both of them. Respect
an amazing
them
match
both.
out of both of them. And if you have half a brain and you look at what they did in the main event, you got to have some baby faces go over at some point on the card. So Frankie Kazarian does get the win. A very highly competitive match. Paige looked great. Again, it wasn't your traditional strap match. They each just have basically straps the size of belts.
So awesome.
And they're just whipping the shit out of each other with it. Earlier in the match,
I was hoping one guy had like a streamer stuck to his other hand. And, like
at one point, early Kazarian fucking suplexes Paige onto the stairs outside of the ring.
Bent that bottom stair.
Yeah. It wasn't your typical ring stairs. It was like stairs coming down from like the stage or something too. And then later in the match, Hangman Page takes Kazarian's strap away from him, ties him up with the hangsman's noose into the ropes, goes and gets a strap with nails and tacks in it. And they teased it for a few minutes that nobody was using the tack strap.
I've never seen that before. Have you seen that before?
I've never seen that.
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that. Kazarian finally gets advantage, but loses the advantage, and Page ends up hitting him with the tacks and the nails. Then Kazarian gets advantage again, hits Page with the fucking tacks and the nail strap. Then I forgot to mention earlier on in the match, Hangman Page peels away the fucking mats.
Yeah.
So, but this leading into the finish, so Kazarian finally gets the advantage, hits Hangman Page with the nails and the tack strap, and they're standing there on the apron. Fucking Kazarian flips him off the apron onto the floor where there's no fucking mats, and then hangs him and murders him outside of the ring. He hangs Hangman Page. Page has he has to give up. And Kazarian wins the match. It was phenomenal. It was great.
So much fun.
Bloody backs from the tacks and the nails, just insanity. So yeah,
and it's weird that I'm sadly more okay with a nail and tack-filled belt than I am with a chair shot to the head.
And this, as brutal as it sounds, it wasn't as...
It's not bloody.
It wasn't horrible. It was probably about the same amount, maybe even less than like when you take the bump into the tacks,
Yeah.
And those are even bloodier, I thought. So, but the redness on the back from those two hitting each other with the strap.
The tenderness of that fucking meat, and then fucking having it. Like, it's gonna suck having nails driven in your back, but you're also having a fucking strap with a bunch of metal in it, like slapping in your back too. It's like, we're thinking about the nails and the pointiness.
Yeah. All right. Well, then it was the Rebellion versus Search and Destroy. The losers must disband, and Search and Destroy actually won the match. So I thought that was notable. Gresham gets the win over Titus with, again, his octopus lock. And then after the match, Punishment Martinez comes out and attacks Jay White. So leading up to the story that ended up somewhat culminating on this week's Ring of Honor TV. I should mention from the TV show this week that it was Jay White that got the roll-up victory again over Punishment Martinez. It was a very similar match to the one here in Hopkins earlier this year. But again,
I just like to
main
point
event.
that one out because the Silas Young and Bobby Fish match, that was a main event right there.
Yeah.
And just I like that they show faith in their young talent. Like, hey, fucking beat today's TV main event.
Yep, and it was good. It was like I said, I thought the Fish Silas Young was better, but I liked that they put the young guys in the spotlight, and I thought they shined. I thought they looked good.
Saying earlier too, like, I know I can tolerate Martinez more now that he's not in that fucking stupid BJ Whitmore fucking just terribleness. So it's just like, I don't know, he's creepier now than he was with them.
The Kevin Sullivan bullshit was not working for anybody. BJ Whitmer had a new role for this pay-per-view. He was the color commentary guy next to Ian Riccaboni. He wasn't good, he wasn't bad, he was just kind of he was there. He was
neat.
there. Yeah, exactly.
I would have rather had Cole Cabana.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of Silas Young, he had a match versus Jay Lethal that I talked about a minute ago. He did lose that match. Jay Lethal won with a leverage pin after Young shoves the referee. This was a decent match, but the story here was what happened after. To start the match, Jay Lethal blindsides the Beer City Bruiser at ringside, taking him out so that he can't interfere in the match. But after the match, Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young attack Jay Lethal. At one point in the match, Jay Lethal goes for his big elbow drop on the floor off of like the barricade. He misses, and then he's selling the ribs the rest of the match. Then after the match, Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young attack the ribs. They're using the keg. Yeah, they're putting the keg in the corner, and Beer City Bruiser is hitting splashes. Same thing. They got him on the ground, and they drape his body over the beer keg, and Beer City Bruiser hits him again. Then they put fucking Lethal on a table outside the ring. Beer City Bruiser goes up to the top fucking rope and hits a splash on the table outside the ring on the floor to Jay Lethal. So what the story is we got next week or this week coming up, this weekend, the G1 specials in the United States with the tournament for the U.S., the new IWGP United States title. Mm-hmm. So Jay Lethal's going to be in that tournament, possibly selling bad rib injuries, all taped up. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out.
G1?
Well, the name of the show is the G1 Special in the United States.
Oh, see, I thought it was GI.
Right, I forgot. Yes, of course. I got that all.
GI Climax.
Joe almost spit took there. But it is. It is going to be this weekend for that new title. Then it was the Briscoes and Bully Ray defending the 6-man titles versus Dalton Castle and the Boys. Another fun match here. Dalton Castle and the Boys end up with the win with a roll-up in the middle of the ring. The most devastating move in pro wrestling. It was a fun story. So early in
they're the champs now?
Yeah.
Yes,
the champs.
They are the champs. But it was funny. Early in the match, you know how Dalton Castle does his peacock pose and it throws off his opponent. Well, he did this to Bully Ray and he was dumbfounded. He's staring down at the dumbfounded thing. Then, out of nowhere, Bully Ray starts doing this dance. This little groovy dance, and then he does his own peacock pose, and the crowd starts chanting, "Holy shit! Holy shit!" Then Bully finally tags Jay Briscoe, who wants to get after the Boys so bad. Remember the passionate promo from Jay Briscoe. He wants to get after the Boys. Dalton does hit the double tag, tags in both the Boys. The Boys hit him right in the ding-ding behind the referee. Jay then at one point continues to attack the Boys instead of getting the tables. So he's chasing the Boys out of the arena instead of getting the tables. Bully Ray goes out there to stop him, to gather his thoughts. Like, you gotta calm down. You gotta get back in the game. And while all of that is going on, that's when Dalton rolls up Mark Briscoe back in the ring to get the win. And so Dalton Castle and the Boys, your new Ring of Honor 6-man champions. So yeah, that was a fun match. Another very good match, Kushida versus Marty Scurll, again for the TV title, the rematch, with Kushida winning it from Scurll last month. Kushida wins with his own finger break and 2 Back to the Futures to get the win.
Nice.
Nice exchanges early, but some spots were a little bit clunky.
Actually surprises me that they didn't have it go back to Scurll.
I think a lot of people were predicting that it would go back to Marty Scurll, with him being a little more available to Ring of Honor in the United States.
Well, I mean, with how much he's doing with the Bullet Club, how much is he really available?
Exactly. Scurll is just as involved with the New Japan stuff as Kushida, but he hits the second rope flipping hoverboard lock at one point in the match. Scurll hits a pile driver for a near fall. They do a spectacular exchange of finisher attempts into baseball punches late. There was a very intense chicken wing spot where Scurll had the chicken wing on Kushida, and he sold and sold and sold. It looked like he might tap, but he never does. He escapes it. But yeah, hits his own finger breaker on Scurll, and 2 Back to the Futures for a fun match. 3.5 stars I gave that one, I thought. Then it was the tag match, War Machine versus the Young Bucks, and then a surprise third entry into the tournament, the Best Friends, Beretta and Chuck Taylor. Chaco, did you mention you got to see this one?
I did watch this one.
Talk about your thoughts on this one.
Well, it was a good surprise. I like that they came out and, Beretta pointed out a good fact that we beat the champs. We should be in this match right now. And I love that the Young Bucks are bring it, so we got ourselves a tornado tag going on. And yeah, a lot of good spots in this match. Yeah. And just all three parties in this match are just good chemistry, man.
Yeah, it became a tornado tag, so no tags, no rules. It was just so many dives is what I wrote down. It's insanity. You can't. Everybody misses a moonsault at one point as a spot.
That was so good.
Hansen gets suplexed at one point.
He went up for the moonsault and they got suplex.
That's right. That's right. Because everybody missed a moonsault. He goes for one and ended up getting suplex. So everybody super kicks. We all fall down. Just a crazy match. The Young Bucks do retain with double indie takers on the Best Friends as War Machine holds them. Yep. So instead of one of the Bucks holding one of the guys and the other guy doing the flip into the indie taker, it was the War Machine guys holding the Best Friends. The Bucks hit the springboards for the indie takers and end up getting the win. So
Chuck Taylor too with that awesome flip off the stairs.
Yeah,
too. He had some good distance on a motherfucker.
To be honest, when they came out and said it was going to be the 3-way, I was like, I was really looking forward to the 2-on-2 between War Machine and Young Bucks. But yeah, this was an insane match that delivered, and it kept the titles on the Young Bucks, so they didn't steal the story or because obviously the story of the night was Cody versus Daniels, so they kind of just filled the role as an awesome semi-main event match while maintaining their titles going into their defense of the IWGP Junior titles versus Roppongi Vice this weekend for New Japan. So then it was the main event, Cody versus Christopher Daniels. Cody won. It was my prediction on Strong Honor. By the way, I didn't mention, I'm not going to do a Strong Honor this week. Steve the Fan, the guy that runs thefanspodcast.com, he's on vacation this week, so he's not going to be around to upload anything. So that's why we're talking all kinds of this stuff on here this week.
Double whammy.
So yeah, but it was okay. It didn't stand out to me as good or bad. The crowd was obnoxiously behind Cody. Big Bullet Club crowd here. Taco, did you
I did watch this one too.
What were your thoughts kind of on just the match itself, how Cody looked, the crowd?
There was a lot of good spots in it. I thought it was, a good back forth match, like nothing to go home, brag about or nothing. No, the tag match I thought was even funner than that, that one. But, it's good. It puts, more gold on the Bullet Club side right now, and with especially with them being in America next week with New Japan, it's a good that's their money right now. Like their shit is selling so fucking crazy at Hot Topic that they put merch in all Hot Topics right now.
Yeah.
Like this, it's insane. It's but it's great to see. So, I'm not too upset with it. I'm kind of curious to see where this will go too, because it's. Seems like Cody needs something like this to kind of make him like the real deal. He can't keep going out there and losing these big matches too. Like,
I mean, this definitely makes him feel more legit, I guess, being the Ring of Honor champion. I still argue I just don't feel like he's proper for that spot. But again, if this gets the internet talking, it gets the world talking. I think it gets new eyes possibly on Ring of Honor.
You were mentioning the fact that the crowd was obnoxiously behind Cody.
Yeah.
Daniels called out the fans a little bit on Twitter, basically saying, "I see how it is. The minute I win my title, everybody's behind me. The minute some upstart comes around or some new guy comes around, you just throw me to the side." So I wouldn't even mind seeing him turn heel or do something nasty soon.
Sure. That makes sense. And to be honest, it kind of makes my opinion on the Cody situation almost irrelevant, because if the fans are really into him as champion,
they love Cody, man.
They love Cody. They love the Bullet Club, and so more power to him.
It's going to be the NWO all over again, man.
It could be. Depends on how they've been booking it pretty well up to this point.
Well, and they're smart then, keeping members at what, like 7 or less, not like 24.
Yeah. So there's that. There was a lot of shenanigans in the match. They had a low blow after a ref bump. Skrull comes out and provides a chair. They do the Eddie Guerrero spot. Cody hits a cutter onto the chair. Kazarian comes out and takes out Skrull. Cody gets a table. Cody hits a Rainmaker in the match as an interesting homage to his upcoming match. Disaster kick hits a dragon screw. Daniels suplex through a table, but a Crossroads after a water spitting spot for a near fall, but then he does win with the Crossroads.
I like that final spot they did to lead into that Crossroads, though. It was just...
Yeah.
It was a fun match. Check it out.
Yeah, it was decent. Let's kind of shift into New Japan a little bit and talk. We got the who's in the A and B block for the G1 Climax. Let's get into that.
Change the subject.
Come on there.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Taco, did you watch the Kizuna Road shows, or at least the main events?
I watched them all.
Nice. I did watch the entire show from the 26th. I just watched the opener and the main event for the 27th show. But in the interest of keeping things in a timely fashion, we'll just kind of talk about those two main events. It was well, let me get to the right page here. Yoshihashi versus Minoru Suzuki for the Never Openweight title. This, to me, was all about Suzuki. He just looked more dominant. Anytime Yoshihashi got some offense in, to me, his offense just doesn't look... It looks weak. He's like the Miz of New Japan. He's like the Cody Rhodes of New Japan. His offense just doesn't seem strong. But Suzuki looked good with the Gotch pile driver after hard open hand slaps to the face in that match. But what did you think of that match, Taco?
What you would expect out of it, just go out there, beat each other up. I'm glad he's defending the belt like he is.
Sorry about that. Hit that by mistake there.
I can say this. I haven't been able to keep up as much as you guys on the New Japan stuff, but I see the after-match interviews a lot.
Sure.
Suzuki's have just been fucking on fire lately. Just mean as fuck whenever he walks back. They're just, fuck it, bring it on. I don't care who it is. I don't care how much experience you got. I'll fight you anywhere, anytime for this belt.
Yeah, I know you guys don't like the Suzuki gun tactics like they do. I fucking love it because of that. It's that fucking mentality. It's not like every stable is doing this. It's them, and they're all fucking assholes, and it's like they even hate each other most of the time. It's just, it works.
I like that Okada came out as Yoshihashi's cornerman in the match, so that was having him out there kind of seconding him was cool, and countering the Suzuki gun factor was a nice story in the match. Suzuki attacks Okada, hoping for some sort of retaliation into a disqualification at one point in the match, so I enjoyed that. Lots of Suzuki gun stuff behind the referee. Like I said, Suzuki dominates the match. More ref bumps. Okada takes out the Suzuki gun guys, but Davey Boy Smith Jr. comes out and takes out Okada. The rest of Chaos comes out and takes out the Suzuki gun guys, so that was nice. Okada hits a big drop kick on Davey Boy Smith Jr. In the ring. Yoshihashi hits a top rope swanton for a near fall and gets a long butterfly lock on Suzuki. This was probably one of the best spots of the match, where it's Suzuki just selling and trying to get out of that butterfly lock. So it felt like a main event. It really did. And so they worked that style. But it was Suzuki getting the, in my opinion, dominant win. I thought it was like a 3-star match, but it was good. I enjoyed watching it. But I don't need to see Yoshihashi in too many main events coming up.
I guess I didn't realize that there was going to be fucking 3 nights of events, though, so I was like a pleasant surprise to come to like each day and be like, oh fuck yeah, new event, so
yeah.
It was perfect, sandwiched between the two events. You got Suzuki gun Chaos fucking going at it, and then you got the big match the next day for Kushida and Bushi.
I wanted to touch on the Young Lions here, because on the night of the 26th, they had 2 10-minute time limit draws, which I thought was a fun one. It was Tetsuhiro Yagi and Shota Umino, the son of Red Shoes. Umino is
Shoto Amuna.
My botch.
But they went to a 10-minute time limit. 10-minute time limit draw. It looked like Umino was going to get the win. He had him in the Boston Crab and going into the final moments of the match. And it was the same thing on night 2. Tetsuhiro Yagi being the younger of the young lions. It's kind of interesting that they're booking those two guys to 10-minute time limit draws.
Sure.
The other 10-minute time limit draw was Tomoyuki Oka, the basically the younger version of Tomohiro Ishii looking guy, just a bald, doesn't give a shit kind of Manabu Nakanishi looking motherfucker, but a bit of a dad bod on him versus the jacked up Brock.
I like your bod.
But the versus the jacked up Brock Lesnar of New Japan Young Lions, Katsuya Kitamura. And so I like those two anytime they face each other in tags or singles, because they just fucking run into each other with shoulder blocks and tackles and take me down, motherfucker. Kitamura's hit him with these hard ass fucking chops.
He's such a fucking monster, man.
Yeah. It looked good for both of those guys, but a fun situation for those two. But then the big main event for the night from the 27th was Bushi versus Kushida. Bushi, part of this awesome group
again?
Loss in Gabber Noblis D Japan.
This was a very good match. This one was a little bit better than the Marty Scurll match, but there again some smoke and mirrors, some bullshit in the match. But I like the story of Kushida overcoming the odds. Interesting to note, we talked about how the Ring of Honor crowd was really behind Cody. The Korakuen Hall crowd was really behind Bushi. It felt like in this match. Taguchi was at ringside for Kushida, or as Vince Russo.
Kashuki Takaguchi.
No, it's Ryusuke Taguchi.
It feels like a lot of people aren't on Kushida's side anymore. Just like, going through the Super Junior tournament, the kind of the reaction he got like towards the end there, and.
Well, I think the
whole Marty Scurll feud going, and like this match, like I don't know, I feel like he's losing some steam.
I think it's tough for us in the United States. I think a lot of the New Japan fans are still into the Kushida story, because I felt like they weren't mad that he retained in this match, but they were just behind. I think what they were behind more than Bushi was the Los Ingobernables factor, because that's such a hot faction with Naito and Hiromu Takahashi. Those kind of being the two hot characters out of that faction, and Takahashi coming out and getting involved in this match certainly contributes to that. And I've heard a lot of people hate on Bushi too, but I've always kind of liked him.
Even just creepy and weird.
Yeah,
it's great though.
Even in his little the back and forth trading of the IWGP Junior title between Kushida and Bushi last year, I also liked Bushi. But there must be something, because I've enjoyed his wrestling, but again, with Los Ingobernables being the heel faction, they're not letting him do much. They do a lot of bullshit and the smoke and mirrors in this match. Kushida does hit that top rope hoverboard flip again, but Takahashi comes out and distracts the ref, but Kushida thrives despite all the bullshit. Bushi does shove Kushida into the ref, then Kushida hits the Back to the Future, but there's no ref, so Takahashi comes in, makes the 3 count, and super kicks Kushida after Kushida thinks he won the match, then hits that sunset bomb onto the floor again, and then Taguchi comes over and chases him out of there. Bushi catches the first baseball punch from Kushida, but then eats the second, then grabs the ref, hits the mist, gets a near fall, then gets another near fall with a backslide, then hits his big MX finisher. That's the code breaker off the second rope, the MX. And that hits is a near fall, so the crowd really popped for that one, because that's usually his finisher. Kushida counters the second MX. I'm sounding like Vince Russo here into the Back to the Future, and then gets the win after El Desperado breaks a guitar over Kushida's head and takes the belt with him, the IWGP Junior title. So we'll get a match between those two at some point in the future, I reckon. But yeah, good match. I thought 4 stars, even despite all the bullshit, because I like the Kushida story, but I see what you're saying, because the American fans are going to be behind Skrull and the Bullet Club, and
just off the crowd reactions in general, just seems like they're cheering for the other guy, even though they like Kushida.
I want to believe that the crowd likes Kushida, but there could be something to what you're saying. So yeah, we'll see where they go going forward.
I agree.
All right, we got the G1 Climax brackets for this year. We had the participants announced last week, but this week we got who is in what block.
I'm so excited for
NJPW G1 Climax.
Omega against Haha Clinton Dix.
Yes, that one will be very good.
Haha, Clinton Dix.
So let's talk A block. Okay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, former ace, new IWGP Intercontinental Champion.
Glorious hair.
Yes, Togi Makabe, Scotty 2 Makabe, the Unchained Gorilla. He's been getting some wins lately in tag matches with his King Kong knee drop. Hirooki Goto just lost the Never Openweight title. Tomohiro Ishii been on a bit of a losing streak lately, but he did beat Kenny Omega in the New Japan Cup. So we'll see how he does in the tournament. Yoshihashi just lost to Minoru Suzuki. Bad Luck Fale, or as Russo likes to call him,
Bad Luck Fail.
Also in the
I already know which one he's thinking.
Also in the A block, Tetsuya Naito, Los Ingobernables, of course, and in his last G1 Climax, it's going to be
Yuji Nagakata.
It's going to be his last G1 Climax, and so he's got a chance here.
So expect him to lose every match.
Well, that's the story that they told with Tenzan last year, Jushin Thunder Liger this year. The other two guys in the A block, Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi. So Nagata's got some competition here. I mean, the biggest competition though is Tanahashi, I think, Naito, Zack Sabre, and Kota Ibushi. So those are kind of the top 4 in this. But again, Ishii, Goto,
Goto,
just losing the Never Openweight. Togi Makabe getting some wins. So
Bad Luck Fail getting that heavyweight title shot.
Yeah, he just had that great match.
I just love the fact that Ibushi's on the other side and Omega's on the other block, because he said that he doesn't want to fight him in something like this unless it's for something big.
Well, yeah, that was the thing is, Omega has talked about wanting to face Kota Ibushi at some point. That's one of his bucket list things for New Japan. So adds a lot of intrigue here.
Yep.
Does Ibushi go all the way to the finals, and does Okada go or Omega go all the way to the finals? So, and who's going to have the IWGP Heavyweight title? After this weekend, or at the end of the year.
Well,
or,
Cody Rhodes, obviously.
So, I've said it before. I'm saying it again. I'm on record. There is no way that New Japan puts the IWGP title on Cody Rhodes. Yes, it would get the world talking. It would get eyeballs on the product.
Flip.
People would flip. The podcasts would flip. I would flip. It would be. I think
neat.
I think it would be stupid. I think it would be dumb. I think it would be awful. But it's definitely a possibility because of the heat, because of the Bullet Club factor, because of the story you could tell between Kenny Omega wanting Okada at his best, and then fucking here comes Cody using all this bullshit to win, offending Omega, the ultimate breakup of the Bullet Club. Do the Young Bucks stay with Omega? There's
and then him and Omega on the same playing field in the G1 Climax.
Right. So I mean, there's the stories you can tell with this thing. So for the B block, now I gotta get my B block.
B block.
This one also pretty competitive. Michael Elgin, who is looking to have a really good
Elgin.
Right.
Michael Elgin. And the Briscoe.
No, there's no Briscoes in the G1.
No, he was at Hardee's or Carl's Jr. ordering a Briscoe sandwich.
That's right.
GI Climax.
So yeah, it is Michael Elgin and Okada.
Kazushika Okada.
Toru Yano in the B block, so lots of nut shots, taking off the turnbuckle pads, playing spoiler. Kenny Omega is in the B block, so again, Kenny Omega versus Okada, match number 3 in the G1 Climax. Lots of questions here. That one's going to be on the final night of the Climax. So obviously both of those guys are probably going to be in contention. And the question is, I mean, the Tokyo Dome match went over 40 minutes. Obviously, they just come off a 1-hour time limit draw.
You can't do that in this one,
does
though.
this go to you can go to a draw.
Well, 30-minute, though.
You can go to a 30-minute draw, and each guy gets 1 point. So does going to a 30-minute draw eliminate one or both of them from the tournament, allowing somebody to backdoor their way in, like last year when it was Okada and Tanahashi that went to a 30-minute draw.
You said it.
And then it allowed Goto to get into the finals of the G1 Climax last year. So that'll be an interesting story. Tama Tonga is in there. Sonata from Los Ingobernables. Evil from Los Ingobernables. So those two having to face off at some point. Juice Robinson in the B block. So like I said, Sonata and Juice having a lot of interesting face-offs in these Taguchi Japan versus Los Ingobernables matches, these tag matches. So it'll be fun to see them in a one-on-one straight-up singles match. Satoshi Kojima and Minoru Suzuki also in the B block. So obviously Okada, Omega, Suzuki is probably going to be a player. Of course, the Suzuki Gun bullshit comes into play. I'm interested to see how Juice Robinson does. Tama Tonga playing spoiler. And I want to see how Michael Elgin does. He's kind of been on obviously after losing to Cody, he's got to rebound and do well. So I'm really excited. Obviously, this thing doesn't start till July 17th, so we got some time before we get into official predictions and what we
got time to fill out a bracket.
Right. And we got to see what happens this weekend with the G1 special. Let's talk about that card real quick and the tournament that's going on there. I know we've talked about it before, but let's just go over it again for Pete's sake.
Yeah, fuckers.
So it is in the opening round, day 1, Michael Elgin versus Kenny Omega. Again, New Japan likes to book upsets in these single elimination tournaments. Who knows? Also, the winner of that is going to face the winner of Jay Lethal versus Hangman Page. So with Jay Lethal with the rib injuries coming out of best in the world, it's looking like a Hangman Page win, which means, is it Kenny Omega? Because that would be Bullet Club versus Bullet Club. So it smells like, I mean, if we're going with the thinking man's booking logic here, if it's Hangman Page, does Elgin make it out of that the first half of the tournament going to the finals? Other side of the tournament, Juice Robinson versus Zack Sabre. Both guys looking for momentum going into G1. And then the winner of that's going to take on Tomohiro Ishii and Tetsuya Naito. So Naito just losing the IC title to Tanahashi. Ishii looking for some big momentum.
Tanahashi fixed the belts, if you've seen.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Tanahashi with a brand new Intercontinental title belt now. So that was cool. But yeah, let's hypothetically say it's Elgin going to the finals. Because we don't want Bullet Club versus Bullet Club yet, and Jay Lethal. Awesome. I think it would be cool, and it would be interesting because it would play further into the story of Omega being maybe upset with Cody if that's the way they go. So yeah, it'd be an interesting story. But let's kind of just go with the simple logic of Michael Elgin making it to the finals. So who do you book against Michael Elgin? Naito, that'd be a good match. Ishii. Ishii and Elgin would be a fuck of a main event for night 2. Juice Robinson, that's an okay story. Zack Sabre Jr., it would be a good match, but I want to see Elgin versus Ishii. And Elgin versus Naito would be good too.
I'm with you.
So let's talk about the other matches on the card this weekend. Obviously, the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Okada. Let's see, talked about those other tournament matches. Oh yeah, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, the Gorillas of Destiny, taking on Hansen and Raymond Rowe for the IWGP tag titles. Doesn't say on here that it's a no disqualification match, because remember, War Machine wanted
These nuts! No disqualification! Anything goes! No disqualifications! Anything goes!
So I guess we'll see what they end up doing on the actual show. But again, maybe they didn't have the balls, because again, it was the Guerrillas of Destiny saying, if you have the balls.
Looks like WWE had the balls.
Oh. 8-man tag, David Finlay, Jay White, Kushida, and Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Sho Tanaka, Yohei Komatsu, Yoshitatsu, and Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn, of course, getting the shot against Tanahashi on night 2 for the IC title. We talked about the tournament matches. Teton, Dragon Lee, Volador Jr., and Jushin Thunder Liger, so some CMLL guys in there, taking on Los Ingobernables, Takahashi, Bushi, Evil, and Sonata. Big 10-man tag opening the match, Beretta, Rocky Romero, Will Ospreay, Mark Briscoe, and Jay Briscoe taking on the Bullet Club, the Jacksons, Marty Scurll, Yujiro Takahashi, and Bad Luck Fale. So that's going to be an insane match, right? With the Young Bucks, fucking Scurll, Will Ospreay on the other side, and the Briscoes. So, yeah, that'll be an insane opener for night 1. So, let's see. I was going to go... Let me just go to night 2 real quick, and we'll just cover the big matches. Obviously, we talked Billy Gunn versus Tanahashi, and then it's going to be the semifinals and finals for the tournament. And I think, is there a junior tag match on this show? Yeah, the Young Bucks versus Roppongi Vice for the junior titles. So for Sunday. So again, if you want to do the free trial for Access TV, Sling TV is a good option. That way you can watch. They're going to be running a marathon in New Japan all day Saturday. They're going to be showing the July 2nd show on Saturday night. Sunday, if you got NJPW World, you can watch it live on there. Otherwise, it'll be taped and shown on Access the following Friday.
I think they said they were going to play them on a Fight Network.
Well, that might be a Canada thing.
Okay.
Because I know Fight TV and the Fight Network. The Fight Network is who owns Impact, and that's like the channel that Impact is on in Canada. It might be a
different overseas thing. I know they've been promoting the fuck out of that, too. Okay. I haven't seen that more than Access.
Really? That's interesting. All right. What was the other thing? Oh, I wanted to talk about the Access TV stuff. I believe it was last week or the week before, Okada versus Shibata with Jim Ross and Josh Barnett on commentary. I haven't had a chance to catch that yet. And I believe this Friday they're going to show the 1 hour time limit draw between Okada and Omega. So
Jim Ross and Josh Barnett.
Yep, same thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to watch that one again with those two on commentary. And watching those, I'm really interested to see how Access handles the live broadcast, what it looks like if it's the actual New Japan ring and that presentation. You know, I'm not, the typical Ring of Honor and United States ring and stuff like that. Because, I mean, there's a lot of elements of this that feel like a Ring of Honor show with a lot of the Ring of Honor guys.
Right.
Fucking Cody Rhodes being in a main event. Fucking Billy Gunn being in a main event, or a big time singles match. Anyway.
Briscoes.
Right. So it'll be really interesting to see how it's presented and just how it feels alive.
It's just exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
Coming to America. I mean, this is the biggest deal we've had. Like, when I first came on the podcast, we were barely talking, some of the New Japan. Taco didn't have the New Japan, app and everything like that.
Yep.
It's just amazing to see the progress and really the help that Ring of Honor and New Japan, impress on each other. Like, I mean, they help each other out so much. Talent here, talent there, even CMLL thrown in that.
Well, and obviously the story that they told with Kushida, him winning the Ring of Honor television title, not dominating, but winning the Best of Super Juniors, getting the IWGP Junior title back. So that elevates not only Kushida in the company, but it makes the TV title look good, the IWGP Junior title look good, and same thing with the Cody story, Cody winning the Ring of Honor World Championship going into this match with Okada for the champion versus champion match.
Got a lot of cross-promotion gold going on this weekend.
Yeah. All right. One other thing I wanted to mention, Taco, you talked about a new app that is available for New Japan World if you're thinking about subscribing.
Yeah, apparently it's on the Amazon Fire Stick, and I haven't seen the layout or seen any reviews or anything on it, but like Joe said, there wasn't really much out there, and they're getting their own fucking apps right now. And like I said earlier, every fucking Bullet Club shirts and Hot Topic, every single one now. So it's just like they're fucking having a good year, and I'm sure it's gonna branch out to other platforms eventually. But it's awesome.
I'll say it again here because I haven't talked about it in a long time, but. I really like the Chromecast that I have for New Japan World, and I use it for a lot of other stuff. The the Fight TV app for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view and the Ring of Honor TV show you can watch on there, too, and a bunch of other cool wrestling stuff. There's a lot of Impact stuff on there, too, if you're into that. So Slammiversary will be on there for $45 if you're into that.
They got my intrigue on that, I'm not going to lie. But like you said, $45 fucking dollars. What are you guys thinking?
I want to get back to that because we haven't talked much Impact lately. But just to finish my thought, the Chromecast, $35, you can do a lot of stuff with it. You can use the New Japan streaming service with that, NJPWWorld.com. Great for YouTube. Anything else that streams, HBO Now, I used it for that. So a lot of different options with that thing, and it's a good cheap option if you don't have something. But before we shift to NXT, let's quickly talk a little.
Change the subject.
Yeah, let's talk some Impact because Taco, you're excited. What's got you excited?
I wouldn't say excited, but
what's got you intrigued?
I haven't watched any episodes.
No, I haven't watched it in months. So,
but it's just they got a name like Drago's coming in, so that's fucking super cool to see. They got one other CML guy that they signed too, but I just saw a promo video between I want to say fucking Daphne, the fucking crazy goth broad. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Her and Sienna are fighting each other, and they're doing like they're combining the Global Force and the Impact belts.
Right.
Which, by the way, Jeff Jarrett, what a fucking stud! Starts a fucking company, TNA, leaves, goes and starts Global Force for 4 fucking months, jacks off for another year and a half, comes back to TNA Wrestling, and then convinces the fucking Anthem to buy Global Force from him. And gets a spot on the fucking board. How the fuck do you do that?
he convinced Anthem to buy Global Force.
Anthem bought Global Force.
What's to buy? There's nothing to buy. It's just a name. It's a shitty website.
And they gave him a spot on the board.
They had TV shows in Las Vegas that they taped that will never see the light of day. They never have. Nobody ever watched them. They were never available. What did they buy? What a bunch of con men. What a bunch of fucking carnies.
Right?
Oh my God. What? God, I hope
that's TNA, man.
I've never said this up to this point. I really want this fucking wrestling company to fucking fail. I'm sorry. I want wrestlers to have a place to work, place to make money, but they have such a bad reputation, and I can't believe they keep finding idiots to give them money. It's just. So, but okay. So, but you're intrigued.
I feel like they're making the right moves.
I'm sorry.
I'm curious to see what kind of ring work Lashley and Del Rio can do between each other,
sure.
And like people have been talking about it online. So it's just like, oh fuck, people are actually talking about this. And
sure.
So just the video package that they put between the women's match there, it kind of got me intrigued a little bit.
Okay.
It was a good package that they put together there, and
so good that you remembered both of their names.
No, only one of them. I called one Daphne.
Crazy Steve.
But it's to me it's signs of a good direction for the company, because like you say,
Botch.
I want the best for these wrestlers out there.
Yeah,
they need other resources.
For all my negativity.
Someone has big fucking open pockets, so they're really willing to keep a wrestling promotion alive. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, I guess the positive there is there's wrestlers working and they're making a paycheck.
I don't know the deets on how much money he got for Global Force Wrestling, but it's just like.
The fact is, he got something.
He got money for this shitty fucking company, and I think it
wasn't even a company. It was a name and a website.
It was more of a let's just buy this, get out of the fucking way. It was cute. Let's move on. I just wish him the best. Like, lure me in. Fucking, let's do this.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's change the subject because we gotta talk NXT.
Yes, we do.
I mean, we actually got to see NXT on a Wednesday. So let's get into
the subject.
NXT. So we got to talk a little bit of last week's NXT before we get into this week, because we just haven't talked about it. Amber Moon beat Peyton Royce with the Eclipse, Taco.
What?
You're supposed to say that was neat.
Oh, that was neat. I know, I'm digging Peyton Royce and the fucking Icon Squad.
Yeah, no, that is good. But rebuilding Ember Moon, getting the win with the Eclipse, that was good.
Getting past the double team.
Yep. Tommy apologizing for pushing Ono. He says his lack of success in NXT is frustrating. Ono gets it, and he's going to start to change by beating Aleister Black later in the night. The Ely brothers versus Sanity. Sanity won with a side slam cutter combo. Taco.
That was neat.
Then we had a Sonya Deville teaser video, and it was Rachel Evers, parentheses Ellering, versus Sonya Deville. This is the new name for the old MMA gimmick lady.
That broad.
It was decent. She got the win with the Kimura, the hoverboard lock, the double wrist lock, whatever you want to call it.
JR calls it a double wrist lock, so it's a double wrist lock.
They're both green, but it was a good heel gimmick for the DeVille gal. Nice heat with the crowd too. So, Roderick Strong attacks Bobby Roode during a photo shoot after Roode hits on his wife. He says, "I'll give you a title shot anywhere, anytime," and that's coming up next week on NXT. But
all right,
I like that the photo shoot gimmick, and then fucking Rude just being a dick, like, "Hey, why don't you drop that zero and get with a hero?" kind of a thing. Then the good main event match: Cassius Ohno versus Aleister Black.
Hell yeah.
The crowd, very interesting here. They were very respectful because they were invested. It was almost like a Japanese crowd. They were just sitting there quiet, very into it, and then when they do an exchange of moves, and then it was the applauding, for a nice exchange. So
you didn't know what to think, because I mean, this is what I kind of like what they did with Aleister Black is, I got squash matches, but then boom, a Cassius Ohno match. It's not just like a mid-carder, not just somebody building up. He's technically, in most people's eyes, a main eventer.
Yep. And he shouldn't have, the guy like that shouldn't have a competitive match with a, quote, mid-carder. So I like that these are both, two potential main eventers. Nice competitive match.
Black looks awesome, though, man.
Yeah. Ohno, I felt like he kind of worked at a heel's pace in the match, got some heat on Aleister, kind of mocks him at one point in the match, doing the sitting down in the middle of the ring thing, but Black counters with a baseball slide and a double stomp. Nice back and forth knee strikes and kicks for near falls, but it was Aleister Black getting the win, countering the rolling elbow with Black Mass.
I was going to say, Black almost mimicked Ohno by going to the back and going straight to the catering table.
So I kind of like the story that they're telling with Itami and Ohno. We get into what happened on this week's episode of NXT. Let's talk about the Itami factor. So he comes out for that match with a rematch with Lorcan. Fucking busts his nose right away. Honestly, not obviously, but we were kind of debating as we were watching it. Oh, is this a work? Is it a blood capsule? But then when he comes out later to restart the match, he's got the gimmicks,
the nose tampons.
Yeah, the gimmicks in his nose. He's bleeding by the end of the match after he finally defeats Lorcan. So I loved that whole story. Hitting the GTS after Lorcan kind of selling a knee injury in the match, and then so I like the story between because it was Hideo calling out Ohno after the match, and that was when Sanity came out and attacked him. Alexander Wolf said some stuff, but it looks like we're going to get a tag team situation between Ohno and Itami. So I like kind of coming off the loss to Aleister Black, kind of resetting. Itami kind of on the rise, but I like these two teaming up against Sanity.
Yeah, and they know each other decently. I mean, they obviously had a relationship and have wrestled each other probably many times. But they both need something, whereas Itami's just trying to build his credibility back up. Cassius Ohno, we're just trying to get him built into something. I want to see him actually challenge somebody. I was sad to see him lose to Black, but I also wanted Black to win that match.
Yeah, right. Velveteen Dream beat Ho-Ho Loon with the Macho Man elbow.
Yeah, that was neat.
He put his dick in his face for the cover.
Go on.
Authors of Pain is going to take on Heavy Machinery in a couple of weeks.
Boom shakaloo.
That'll be pretty good. Yeah, slapping of the shoulders there. Let's see. I like. Okay, so Nikki Cross. Well, they're interviewing Asuka in her SUV Escort on the way to Full Sail, and Nikki Cross just jumps on the hood of the vehicle. So I really liked that segment there. And then we had the last woman standing match for the NXT Women's Championship. I thought it was great. I really liked the match between Asuka and Nikki Cross. A hot start. Cross traps Asuka in the ring skirt and piles up a bunch of chairs.
I was just pointing out the whoop falling in. But one thing I want to point out is, like, if I had to choose out of the main events we've seen this week from WWE, this was number one for me.
That's probably almost out of the year, to be honest.
Yeah, this definitely was I thought better than the women's ladder match, and the definitely better than that gauntlet match. So yeah, this was
just what we've seen so far. Like, you know, the broads have done such a great job, but
the broads, he says. Keep going, Taco.
This match, it was just next level. Like, it was just, everything was just thought out so fucking great. Like, the piling of the chairs on the outside, and then the piling of the chairs on the inside, and then they fucking worked their way back to the outside, and they did their spots on those chairs on the outside. I completely forgot all about those fucking chairs out there until that. That was genius.
It's a fun spot setting up something early in the match. It larkens back to when we were talking about the Hangman Page Kazarian spot, when Page peels back the mats, and then later in the match he ends up taking the bump on the bare floor. So it was kind of that same factor here, where you forget about, oh shit, there's that pile of chairs out there.
It's just like these two chicks,
I like to see the ladies.
They were fucking going at it hard, and you know, like I'm obviously I'm excited. I'm wearing a Carmella shirt, you know, right now. Like I'm totally digging that she won twice. You know, like the only other person to win 2 times in a row is CM Punk. But you know, like the chair shot that she landed on, I think it was Charlotte on that to climb up that, or Becky Lynch. It was fucking so weak. It wasn't the weakest I've ever seen, but it was like, fucking wind up on her, girl. Like, you're on live TV. Like, you got to dish it out. This is how it is. Go hard or go home. And
and I've had only a little while to let it sink in, but really thinking about it, it's like Asuka's had some great matches, but I think this is the one that's pushed her the farthest. Whether it was a gimmick match with the chairs and everything like that, I think she was pushed the hardest by Nikki Cross in this match.
Oh fuck yeah, Nikki Cross! You know, it showed her that she's going to be a threat. You know, not just NXT, but main roster. This is what I was saying months ago. Is like you know, I said that Crazy is going to beat Crazy. Well, that wasn't the case tonight, but damn near fucking close.
But Lana's better because she's on SmackDown Live, right?
Absolutely.
I am smitten.
It's a fish.
Personally, I like to see the ladies. I'm sorry about that.
You know, this match was very, very good. They had got the trash can involved. Asuka put it over her head.
Kicks too.
Kicked the shit out of her with the trash can. They did the hair mare off the top rope onto chairs. Nikki Cross does a back suplex onto chairs. Cross hits 4 fisherman's neck breakers. I think that might be one of her finishers that she's used at one point. I'm not sure. Then the power bomb onto the chairs on the floor that Taco had forgotten about. Spinning neck breaker off the railing onto the floor out in front of the announcers. Then it was finally the big superplex off the ladder onto the announce desk that was enough to keep Nikki Cross down, and Asuka barely made it to her feet. Almost looked like it might have been a double count out finish, but it was.
She instantly dropped right after.
Yep, Asuka. Yeah. So told a great story, and Asuka retains, still continuing to rebuild Ember Moon. This is what I believe, that they were going to rebuild Ember Moon, and we're going to get the rematch between those two at SummerSlam. But Nikki Cross
takeover,
takeover SummerSlam or whatever. But yeah, Nikki Cross showing that she belongs in main events too. So I'm really curious to see, because they've kind of been downplaying Ruby Riott, and I liked what I've seen out of her so far, but they've kind of not given her too much yet. So I think that's a story
yet to be played out too. Asuka Cross thing set up so fast they didn't expect her to hit as hard as she did.
Sure. So they kind of slowed her down,
which isn't a problem, you know. But like, you know, we could have, you know, even building up Sonya Deville, you know, all these. There's tons of women coming up again. Go back to like 3 to 4 months ago, and we're talking about how there's nothing really in NXT except for Asuka, and within a couple months we have multiple contenders for the title.
We got fucking 32 women coming in too next month.
It's gonna be crazy. Ooh, and speaking of that, just throwing that out
Mae
there,
Young Classic,
the Mae Young Classic, Lita and JR is who are going to be calling it. And I think that's awesome.
And we forgot to talk about Morrow.
My God.
Commentary for NXT. How good was he tonight?
It just felt so good.
At one point, he said pro wrestling. He never said the word sports entertainment, which was great. Him and the chemistry between him and Nigel McGuinness was good right off the bat. So just what a great commentary.
Percy, man,
Percy's been good lately. I mean, I haven't had anything bad to say about Percy.
Again, it's just like watching any announcer
he's
coming in NXT. Yeah. No, he's no Matt Bloom.
I'm sorry about that.
I was a big Matt Bloom fan.
Morrow was great. Great to see him back. I was really hoping to see him back in the New Japan chair. The big question now is who does Access get when Jim Ross's contract is up, I think in February of next year. So when his contract with Access is up, and Morrow being tied up in NXT, who does New Japan get for Access to call? I mean, I suppose Kevin Kelly might be available. So, and with him already doing the New Japan World stuff. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, what a week it's been.
What a week it's been. So much to talk about.
We're gonna shut her down here because we're just over an hour and a half into this thing. We could talk Lucha Underground, but we didn't watch this week's, so we'll double up on Lucha Underground in the Cueto Cup possibly next week. But with all the New Japan stuff going on and all of the stuff going on, it might even be hard to squeeze it in. So we'll see.
I'll get squeezed in. I got a fucking pajama prison match squeezed in.
Yeah, well, that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So we'll be doing. The Great Balls of Fire is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing predictions for that on next week's show, I guess. So. Woo! So much to talk about. If you want to follow along on Twitter at BPW Podcast, go to the website, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com. Like I said, we'll have links to that Russo video that we were talking about earlier, and links to all the social media, links to Strong Honor, and all the past episodes of this podcast. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your great podcasts. And check out Strong Honor, not this week, but all the other weeks that I do it on thefanspodcast.com and all the other great podcasts there. Follow me on Twitter at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Taco, where can people find you?
Oh, you could find me on that Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, shit that's out there, at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me at JoeBPWP. Is that right?
That's it.
All right. That's Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Right. Think Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, Joe BPWP. That's going to do it for the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Bye.
Peace.
That's right, geeks. Hey, that's funny. You think that's funny? It's not. Shut up.
My botch, and I gotta apologize. I'm a little late this morning. My mother did not set my alarm clock. Bad luck fail. I guess that's coming. Michael Elgin. I guess that's coming. Tomohiro Ishii. I guess that's coming. Yuji Nakagata. I guess that's coming.